three forms of justice. Alice is a 16-year-old girl who has been saving her allowance to buy a bracelet. As soon as she has enough, she races to the store, finds the type that she wants, and sees that there are only 3 left. But then she sees something else. One of the bracelets doesn't have its security tag, which means it won't set off the alarm, which means she could just take it. Alice's hand moves forward. It hovers. Then Alice reaches down, picks up the bracelet with the missing security tag, and walks straight to the cash register. Rosa is a young mother of 3 little girls. Her youngest, Josefina, is 1. Maria, the middle child, is 3. And Luna, the oldest, is 5. Today has not been a good day. Josefina and Maria have both been cranky, and Luna has been downright combative, which means that the task Rosa is about to perform could go very, very wrong, because Rosa is about to serve dinner. But she's a pro, and she knows exactly what to do. Of the 8 slices of pizza, Josefina will only eat the smaller portion of one, and only if it's not the crust and if it's cut into tiny pieces. Maria will eat the rest of that same slice, crust included, but hers also needs to be cut into small, though not baby-sized, pieces. Luna will want to have a whole slice to herself. As Rosa puts the plates on the table, she holds her breath. The girls look at their plates, then they look at each other's plates, and then no one complains. Rosa smiles. Jonas is a 20-year-old university student who grew up in a factory town in the north of Germany. Having lost his mother to lung cancer, and seeing that the rate of lung cancer in his own town is much higher than it is in other towns of comparable size in the same part of the country, Jonas worries that it may have something to do with the factory. After doing some of his own research online, Jonas discovers that there are many other people with that same worry. Together, they call on the local government to investigate the matter, but their appeals fall on deaf ears. Then they discover that several of the local leaders have political connections to the company that runs the factory. So, Jonas helps to organize a citywide strike and a public protest. Pressured by the public attention, the government agrees to open an investigation, and it discovers that the factory was indeed in violation of a number of safety regulations. Now, I want you to ask yourself this question. Which of our 3 characters, Alice, Rosa, and Jonas, was the most just? Was it Jonas because he was acting for the common good of everyone rather than just a select group of people? Was it Rosa because she focused on the concrete, particular needs, desires, and circumstances of each of the people that was in her care? Was it Alice because she explicitly chose to obey the law and pay exactly the price that the bracelet was worth? While each one of these responses has something going for it, the truth is that none of them is exactly right, and none of them can be right, because the question itself is wrong. Saying that Jonas was more just than Rosa, or that Rosa was more just than Alice, would be like saying that a dog is more of an animal than a cat. Jonas's justice was what we call an act of social justice. Social justice, which sometimes also gets called general justice or legal justice, is all about working for the common good. Whenever a member of a community tries to do right by the whole community, that's an act of social justice. Did you pick up a piece of trash that you found in a public space and throw it away simply because you want that space to be beautiful for the community? That's social justice. Rosa was up to something different. She was performing an act of distributive justice. Distributive justice is all about how we divvy up or distribute common goods. Whenever the community tries to do right by its members, that's distributive justice. It isn't about making sure that everyone gets exactly the same thing. It's rather about making sure that everyone gets proportionately the same thing, given their different positions and roles within the broader community. Is that what was going on with Alice? Not at all. If Alice had taken that bracelet, telling herself that she needed the bracelet more than other people, Alice would have been stealing. And that is simply unjust. This is because Alice's situation wasn't a matter of social justice or of distributive justice, but of commutative justice. The word commutative comes from the word commutation, which means exchange. Whenever one member of a community tries to do right by another member of that community, that's a matter of fair exchange, and so a matter of commutative justice. Commutative justice, then, is all about fair exchange. Do you expect other people to keep the secrets that they promise you they'll keep? If so, that's commutative justice. And unlike distributive justice, commutative justice is about exact equality. If Alice pays anything less than what that bracelet is worth, or if you keep anything less than the full secret that you promised to keep, then we've done something unjust. So, there are at least 3 different forms that justice can take. There's commutative justice, which is about one member of the community doing right by another member of that community, and that's Alice's justice. There's distributive justice, which is about the community doing right by its members. That's Rosa's justice. And then there's social justice, which is about the members of the community doing right by the whole community. That's Jonas's justice. And despite their differences, these really are 3 forms of justice, for they all have something in common. They're all ways of doing right by one another. And that's just justice.
In the next episode, it may surprise you to know that we'll channel Pontius Pilate and ask, what is truth in social life? If this is the first episode you've watched, we recommend you watch the introductory episode of this series next.